Welcome back to Biddy Bats and merging into Biddy Battle. So congratulations to the Dodgers for winning the Biddy Bats playoffs, the World Biddies, as it were. They went up against San Diego Padres. They were both winning after the first two games. And for the World Biddies only, I decided, regardless of point differential, whoever wins more games, basically, if you got a clean sweep, then you were the champ. Dodgers won 3 games. They swept the Royals, and San Diego lost pretty bad their last game that they played. Who were they playing? They were playing the Indians, I believe it was, or was that the previous series? You had Kansas City taking on the Royals taking on the Dodgers. And then, wow, who did the Padres play? I think it was. Oh no, they were playing the Phillies. That's right. So the Phillies just mopped them up. So, congrats to the Dodgers. You are champions of something. Earlier, at the end of last year, the Chiefs won Biddy Ball, and then the UCLA Bruins won Biddy Buckets. So I've pretty much done 3 different fantasy sports leagues since the beginning of like August or September of last year, and we're coming up on the 4th. So we're coming up on the final league of the year, the calendar year, I guess. My calendar year starts when football starts, and then going into football season. I'm going to really think about whether or not to re-up for another season. But I just wanted to come on here and briefly describe the Biddy Battle to you, and then also let you guys know that if you haven't seen the 25th anniversary of the ESPYs, go look for that on whatever streaming thing you do, whether it be YouTube or however you watch it. Probably ESPN app. I'm sure they probably will do a replay. But great stuff, especially some of the awards that don't go to athletes as you would consider them. There was a great piece on a gentleman named DT that was in the military, that was disabled when his when his vehicle ran over like, what are they, IEDs, and he was disfigured. He kept his life, thank God, but he won the Pat Tillman Award. So I'm getting ready to walk the dogs, and then I'm like, I need to grab something out of the coat closet to throw on. I usually just take off my shirt and my shorts when I get home from work, and I'm just laying around watching sports or movies on the couch. I actually almost missed the ESPYs because I've been so caught up in my other passion, music. I was watching the Defiant Ones, the documentary with Andre Young, Dr. Dre, and Jimmy Iovine. The 4th part was on tonight. And with work and with all these things, all these passionate interests of mine between sports and music, I also forgot to reach out to my friends, one in Texas, one in New York, and wish them happy birthday. So happy birthday, Nate. Happy birthday, Monica. 'Tis the season. Happy Nautica, right? So you guys, hope you guys had a great time, and hopefully we'll catch up soon. So anyways, with this Biddy Battle, it's going to be, since this is July 12th, it's a good day to roll this out. You're going to have 12 NASCAR drivers, and you're going to have 12 Association of Volleyball professionals, beach volleyball players going up against each other in a point system. The AVP San Francisco Open happened last weekend, and I'll get you the results Saturday night, or is it Sunday night, after the first NASCAR race of the Biddy Battle, which is in I think it's New Hampshire. So that'll be at 12 noon. All this is taking place on NBC Sports Network, so it's pretty much a battle of the network stars, if you will, between volleyball and NASCAR. And In NASCAR, I'm going to do, pretty much there's Chevy, there's Ford, and there's Toyota. So you're going to have 12 drivers, and I'm going to do 6 teams of 2 drivers each. And then in volleyball, obviously, there's 2 persons per team, 2 players, and at the end, 2 of those, one of those teammates, or not one of the teammates, but one pair of teammates will be declared the Biddy Battle victors. So that should be fun to see how that unfolds. I'll get into all the minutia, the points, how that's going to divvy up, and all that sort of thing. So over the course of July and August, you're going to have 4 volleyball tournaments, one of which already took place, like I mentioned, and 4 NASCAR races. So I guess maybe two of those per month. And at the end of August, right before football season, you'll have a Biddy Battle champion. So that's how that works. I'm wearing a Arizona State jersey. One thing I wanted to just touch on real quick, just to give you a background about my story and why all these Biddy this, Biddy that sports leagues. This jersey kind of sums up my youth playing sports. I was heavily involved in football from freshman year at Irvine High School until senior year. I didn't play any college sports. I just focused on academics and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I was, as a freshman, I joined the team because they said that they won't cut anybody. So I knew I wasn't going to get cut, so I joined the team. I was a wide receiver and a cornerback. I wore the number 21. Pretty much one of the only numbers left. Sophomore year, I kind of came a little bit closer into the field. So from a wide receiver, I became a tight end. From a cornerback, I became a defensive end. Was starting to watch Chiefs football. I think, was it that year? Whenever Derek Thomas started playing, that's when I became a Chiefs fan. He was an outside linebacker, number 58. So I think that was more when I started my junior year. Junior year was 89 to 90. Senior year was 90 to 91. And so as you can see, this number is 90. It's significant in the fact that that was the start of my senior season. And although due to some unforeseen circumstances that I wasn't too thrilled about, but I was slated to be the starting right guard. We had an all-pro center. So basically, what I'm saying is that from junior year and senior year, we actually had a meeting with our varsity head coach, Terry Hennigan. And he called me up and he had me do an aptitude test and just a kind of like a personality skills test. And he says, I see that you have leadership abilities, and I want to make you a center. The person that calls the huddle and snaps the ball and pretty much is the leader of the offensive line. And I just looked at him like, man, I want to play tight end, And so I basically had told him, I really want to play tight end. A lineman, I'm tiny, like I'm 175 pounds, I'm going to get killed. Guys lining up across from me are 225, 250 at least. But he said, just make some friends with some guys that are bigger than you. Work out a lot, and I think I got a good read on this. So, needless to say, junior year, unless you were super talented, most juniors didn't see a play on the field. They were just practice dummies, and sure enough, I think when we lined up to do our stretching, there I was at center, and I was like 7 or 8 guys deep at the center position. So eventually, senior year, I moved over to right guard, had a chance to start, and I put on some pounds, put on some weight, worked my tail off in the off season. But once Hell Week came, we were having 2-a-days, lost a lot of weight, didn't have a great center of gravity, forgot to wear my cleats, and we had a new offensive line coach who favored a guy that was in one of his classes, one of his history classes. So he got the start over me, and it was probably the right decision. I backed up the center, the right guard, the left guard positions. One of my best friends was the left guard, and then my other best friend played nose guard or defensive tackle. He went back and forth between those two. So I did make friends with linemen, and I got a great work ethic from them. All right, just making sure I still have some time left. Eventually, our varsity team, when I was a senior, went 6-4, missed the playoffs on some bogus ruling where I think one of the judges that was picking between our team and Camarillo's team, I think he knew somebody or had a nephew or had a son that played on Camarillo, so he chose their team over ours. So we didn't make the playoffs. However, our JV team, which played on Saturdays, I practiced all week long, and so you better believe I was going to get some playing time on the weekends. And sure enough, I was the starting center, and then I had played special teams too. So I got a chance to play with my brother. He was a wide receiver, and so that was a great time. Our team went 9-0. Oh, hey, what's up, Pappy? Our team went 9-0, so that's another reason why I like wearing jerseys with 90 on it. It's because it reminds me of our 9-0 perfect season. And basically, you know, when you go through life, you're going to have battles. And, you know, you're going to have ups and downs, whether you win. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but ultimately you're trying to win the war. And I can give you two examples of good experiences I had and then two not so good experiences. And you usually remember just a couple plays that you know you were really good at, or two plays that you were really bad at. I remember one play earlier in the season. It was a punt. I ran down, just knocked the snot out of some kid, and he fumbled the ball. My brother landed on it and recovered the fumble, and me and my brother we were celebrating. So that was a good moment. And then, so that was an active commission. An active omission was last game of the year. We needed a touchdown. It was a running play. The guy was running behind me. I was out front, and the guy ran right in front of me, and he was going to try to tackle our running back. And I just let up. You know, I could have pushed him in the back, and then they would have called the play back, and we probably wouldn't have got a touchdown. We probably wouldn't have scored because of the penalty. But it was something that I didn't do. And then our guy, I had faith enough that our guy could outrun this kid. I don't know why, but I said no, just don't commit the penalty, and I didn't. And that was after I had nearly had my knee blown out at the end of the first half. So I was able to play the second half. I was able not to mess up the biggest play of the second half, and we won the game. We finished the season 9-0. We didn't have like a 10th game for some reason. But those were the two most memorable plays I've ever had. The least memorable, I remember I was trying my hand at defense. I was a defensive end. They ran to my side. I got blocked, cracked down on. I lost contain, and then the guy ran like a 60-yard touchdown around the corner on me. And then what was worse is that they kicked the ball off to us. We didn't do anything with it, so we were again on defense. They ran the same play to my side. The exact same thing happened. So they scored 2 touchdowns on me as I played defensive end. Coach is like, Boucher, get off the field, you know, and he put in a junior. And the junior was like half my size, but yet he knew how not to break contain or give up contain. And so that was pretty embarrassing. The other play, I remember we were playing a powerhouse team, El Toro, and I was overmatched. I was the offensive, the center, and I was just, after I'd snapped the ball, the guy would just drive me right into the quarterback, and I remember the quarterback saying, Coach, you know, I can't do anything with Dave's ass in my face. You know, I was literally just driven into the quarterback almost every play. And I remember literally at halftime thinking, I'm just getting dominated out here, you know, like I was on the verge of tears, you know. It's just like, this guy is huge. Like, you know, here I was thinking I was a stud because I was bigger than some of the juniors. But this guy, you know, he seemed like he probably was a senior as well, or maybe he was just a huge junior, but he was just dominating me. And